Hello and welcome to this edition of an EFAcast. Today I'm going to talk to Leeuwarden. Leeuwarden is a city in the far north of the Netherlands. It's the capital of the Friesland region, and indeed the Friesland Islands are thought to be one of the most interesting cultural places in Northern Europe as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And Leeuwarden itself as a city was one of the European capitals of culture in 2018. So I'm talking today to two people from the city there who have been in charge of much of the cultural explosion in the city over the last few years. And Sjoerd Bootsma and Hein Kuiken, I'd be really helpful, Sjoerd, if you could start by telling me what you do with the city.
Hi, everyone. I'm the artistic director of Arcadia. And Arcadia is the legacy organization of our European Capital of Culture. It is actually the same organization as the one that delivered the European Capital of Culture. And as a legacy of our successful year in 2018, we now organize a cultural trial every 3 years, like a mini cultural capital.
Thank you. And hi, what do you do?
I work for the Municipality of Leeuwarden, and I'm an Alderman over there. So it's difficult to explain my exact position because you can't compare it to other political systems. But I'm kind of a vice mayor, and in my portfolio is culture. So I try to shape the cultural policy of the municipality.
So you oversee basically whatever Leeuwarden does in culture.
I should be overseeing that, yes.
And do you do that as a politician or as an official?
I'm both. I'm a politician. I represent the Labour Party here in the municipality, but I'm also an official. But I do get elected every once in a 4 year.
One of the things I always ask about the business of being a European capital of culture is how much support do you think there was politically from the citizens themselves and from the local press?
During our nomination for Cultural Capital in 2018, you mean?
Yes, and during and after.
I think there was a lot of support. There was also a lot of discussion, but you see that more often when there's big events coming. So there was a lot of discussion, and the good thing about it is that after the discussion, after we experienced 2018 and we had a wonderful year, the support was even bigger. So you see there's a lot of support, not only from the press, but also from our people and also political. Because if I look at the city council, there were also some critical factions about being a cultural capital. And afterwards, the support is almost unanimous, is almost all the factions in the city council support our cultural policy.
So they grumbled at the start, and by the end, they were very glad it had happened.
Yeah, some of them grumbled, and in the end, everybody is very happy that we became cultural capital.
And have you been able to continue that support now for increasing the cultural offering that Leeuwarden has to give, both to its citizens and to the outside world?
Yeah, I think so. A lot of people here have seen what it did for Leeuwarden, in a cultural way, but also in an economic way, in a social way. And because they experienced it themselves in 2018, there is a lot more support for investing in culture. So I always say, before Leeuwarden became cultural capital, there was a lot of discussion about the question if culture could now provide in public solutions, and after cultural capital, it was not only the if question, but it was more the how question. And that shows that there's a lot of support for investing in the cultural sector.
And Sjoerd, Arcadia is a triennial festival, isn't it? And your next one, I think, is 2025. That's rare. Many festivals once every year or once every 2 years. Why have you decided to be triennial?
Well, We believe that size matters, actually. It's important to have a large-scale artistic intervention to include many people when you do it. But if you imagine going for dinner and you have a really nice dish, it's good that after that dish, you take a little while to just let it sink. And we believe for a lot of the people in our communities to participate in our triennial, it's good that after the year, we let it sink a little while. And then we grab their attention again, and 3 years later, we do something big again.
And what's your focus?
That's one of the reasons.
What is your focus going to be next time round?
Well, our main focus is what we call our meanskip method. Meanskip is a Frisian phrase, sort of means community, but in our case, we believe community is something you practice. It's a verb as well. So how we work with our local communities and how we collectively organize an event there where a lot of people take part in, that is the red thread through all of our practices. The theme for our 2025 edition will be around issues of what is our ground, what are the physical attributes of our ground, how poor or how rich is our ground, how do we deal with it, but also what's our common ground in a day and age where a lot changes around us and where we are divided on many, many subjects. And we try to, with Arcadia, come up with public space in the middle and foster democratic conversation about the future of our region through imagination, through art.
And tell me something about the region, because Leeuwarden, of course, is on the mainland of the Netherlands, and you've got this wonderful string of islands off to the northwest, which is very much, I mean, I always think of the Frisian Islands as rather than Friesland, the region. And it's a fascinating combination of both land and sea and island. And how does that translate artistically?
Well, Friesland is a really special region, and I invite you all to come and visit us. There are 7 soil types, for instance, in Friesland. It's really a country of its own, with a very a beautiful language, which is older than English, older than Dutch, with a very sense of identity that is very strong, with lakes, with the sea, with the islands, and also with, I don't know, it's like a country within a country of the Netherlands. But that also, I mean, Friesland is not the richest region of the Netherlands. It's a very much an agricultural region. And because we are really very good at agriculture, we sometimes also have exploited our ground a little too much. So there are many issues of biodiversity, also in our Waddenzee area. And there are many issues that we have all throughout Europe on when it comes to loneliness or when it comes to being a small peripheral rural community, etc. And we use these challenges to create artistic programming from, really. That is part of an answer.
Well, it's a very good answer. Sjoerd, I was wondering, when you're looking back at your legacy of Arcadia from the European Capital of Culture, how did you feel that you'd done everything then, or was there a whole portfolio of ideas that you still had up your sleeve for the next festival?
You know, the world is changing every day. And no matter who you are in society, we all strive for our own paradise or our own Arcadia, as the Greeks love to call it. And change comes to our communities every day. So we need to reorganize and rethink how we are and who we are together every day. So that's why art is always relevant. And we should always be organizing cultural events together, because we need to think and feel about the changes that come to our communities. So yes, we've done a lot in our cultural capital year, but since 2018, we all know this, the world has changed dramatically again, and it will happen again. So there is plenty of more to do.
Hein, the EFFE Seal, the program through which festivals and cities sign up together to be festival cities as part of EFFE, is led to some useful contacts, I'm sure. But I just wondered what those programs, not only the City of Culture, but also this seal, has meant for the city itself and the way it approaches its work.
Yeah, thank you very much, Simon, for the question. No, we were very enthusiastic about the seal, the EFFE Seal. We signed it in Yerevan, and some of our civil servants are now working together with other civil servants and other festival organizations in Europe to implement the seal also in Leeuwarden. And I think we're thinking about how we can organize festivals in a better way, on a more in a better way with more profit, and not only economic profit but also public profit in Leeuwarden. And I'm very enthusiastic about that.
And Sjoerd, I was wondering how well, as you're an artistic director, so of course you will be coming up with some ideas which I hope are much too expensive for Hein to be able to afford. I was just wondering how closely you integrate your work with the city, and how do you work together?
Well, I think we have a very close partnership when it comes to cooperation. Two projects come to mind. In our European Capital of Culture year, we work together with the Giants by Royal Deluxe, which is quite a massive cultural event. And this has created a lot of trust in our cooperation, I suppose, in producing such a big city event. And as a result of that, we wanted to come up with a new big project for Arcadia in 2022, but we wanted to create something ourselves. We wanted to create a big project in Leeuwarden with Frisians ourselves. And also, because we can do that ourselves. We don't have to buy it from somewhere else. Let's do it together. So we came up with an idea to walk with a forest of 1,200 trees. They are 7 meters tall. And we walked with the forest through the city for 100 days with almost 4,000 people as the movers of the forest. This is a massive transformation of public space. It's not one event, it's actually every day is an event. And you can only do such a thing, such a radical imagined project, if you do that together with the municipality. And not on a formal level, but also with the people of the municipality, with the guys and the girls who take care of the trees, with the people who do the infrastructure and the roads, who have to block traffic. So this is how we work together with the municipality. And it is something I think is really unique in Europe, that it is on such a close level. And I think this has brought also, but Hein can tell more about that, but this has also, doing such large projects has brought a lot as well to the city.
People always talk about trees talking to each other through their roots. Did you have any complaints from the trees about being moved around so much?
They loved it.
Good.
Yeah.
Hein,
it really triggered our imagination, how it could be to live in a wonderful green city. And so here also at the beginning, there were also people afraid about their parking lot and about if they could, about the traffic and stuff like that. But once the project was going, people were really enthusiastic about what was happening, and they saw what it could do in our city. So it really gave the debate about a green city an impulse. And this is something we can use in our policy when it comes to be a good city with all those challenges. Yeah.
Well, Sjoerd and Hein, thank you very much indeed for talking to me. But I hope also that everybody will feel that they now want to head to the sea fringes of Friesland and enjoy what it has to offer.
Thank you very much.
You're all very welcome, but it was very nice chatting with you again, Simon.
you.